Okay. I believe we are live.
We are live.
Pull up the chat here so I know what's going on. Welcome, Steve. Nice to have you here. Play with some toys on a Saturday afternoon.
Nothing better, Rick. Nothing better.
Yeah, my name's Rick. This is Steve Evans. Steve decided to let me. I asked him if I could use his Let Him Breathe logo, and he happily agreed to come on and talk some toys with me and open some toys.
Rick's only got to pay me 10% of all proceeds he ever makes.
That's right. I'm going to make so much money today on this stream from all those views. Welcome, Geek Strong. His name's Dino. Dino's a fun guy in the YouTube community. You're going to see a lot of those guys here.
Hey,
and
Dino.
Eric Brown. Welcome. Let him breathe. Indeed.
This is a great setup.
Got super awesome.
See everything. It's cool.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's definitely it's a friendly environment, and I think you're going to get nothing but positive, comments that we might pop up here.
There'll be
stuff like that.
Sure.
Brown, happy Saturday. Got Hoppy's Creations. Welcome, thank you. And then we got a fellow UK Brit here, Blue Harvest Toys.
We'll do it in the accent. We'll do it in the accent. Hello there.
Exactly. Whoever had, you can't say hello there without impersonating Obi-Wan. Good day, Michael from Down Under.
I won't do an Aussie accent.
And I'm known to have crazy theories, so you'll see lots of tinfoil hat comments here.
What's that about?
Here's one of my main theories. No one believes, Mr. Stevie, is I think that Omega is either going to be the armorer or the Tuscan warrior female in the Boba Fett show, who I don't think is dead. And everyone laughs at me, but I'm like, you're all going to laugh at me when I'm right. She's somebody, I think.
Armorer could be good. I don't know. That's what I like. We were talking about earlier where, like, I obviously was on Star Wars, but coming out of Mandalorian, I knew a lot about it because I was still on brand. But when coming through Boba Fett, Bad Batch, anything, and coming into Obi-Wan, I know nothing. So it's like really cool to experience it with everyone else and look forward to it. I can't wait. It's this week. It's Wednesday, isn't it? Obi-Wan?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's Friday. And then I believe the next following episodes are on Wednesdays. I might be wrong, but I think they just moved this Friday one.
They shifted
to accommodate, celebration and whatnot.
Yeah, cool. I can't wait. It's going to be wicked.
And I want to ask you quickly about that. I'm assuming you've seen the couple of trailers and stuff that have come out, right?
I have, yes.
For Kenobi. Now, are you ever spending time on YouTube and Twitter? Because they seem to be worse than Instagram or Facebook, but where people post potential spoilers and rumors about, say, Kenobi or whatnot. Do you read into any of that, or do you try to block it out?
Well, it's weird because when I did know what was going on, obviously I knew all everything happened. I went in to see films, whether it be Force Awakens or the first Mandalorian, and I watch it for a different reason. I watch how it's constructed and how they tell the story that I know is going to come about. But this is all, I have no idea what's true or not. I have suspicions, and like a lot of the rumors, most of them are just made up, because if I know one thing, I know that Lucasfilm and Disney are very proud of the way that they keep their stories under wrap and how they reveal and release the stories through television, through products. So most of the rumors I look at and go, you're just clutching at straws. But we'll find out. We'll find out soon enough.
For sure, 99% of them are invented or created.
I read them. I think I try and work them out, like you. Is Omega the armor? And I was like, I'm trying to work out the timelines, and that's.
I think I might be the only guy on the planet that thinks that, though. But
you might be.
I wish I could win a lottery. If welcome Orlando. I wish I could if I was right, or a free toy or something. So yeah, we're gonna open some action figures. At least one open off the bat. I think Mr. Steve's got a Transformer he wants to open.
I have. You want me to do that first? You want me to do that now?
Sure. Let's see what you got here.
So
I haven't seen one of these yet.
You can see up there or up there. I can't quite see up there. We got I had a Optimus Prime, which is a brand I haven't worked on from a toy point of view. I've done style guides and branding and consumer products I'm a graphic designer, like trade. So I used to do a lot of style guides and things for Transformers. So I've done that. So this is an Ultimates, OP Ultimates that arrived on my door. I won't walk over there yet. Arrived at my door this morning when I kind of came back from my daughter's track meet, and I haven't opened the box at all. So it's an Ultimates OP through our friend Super 7, which we license out the Transformers brand to. So I'm going to come over here. And
I hope you get a discount.
All right, okay. We can see me. Can you hear me?
I think so. I hope everyone can hear Mr. Stevie right.
No one's interested in hearing. They want to see. So we'll open it. Now, those of you who know me, I should be seeing what's in the box. I got a box. So I haven't opened this at all, so we'll see. Okay. So we got brown in brown. I do like a bit of brown color. There's something quite nice about it. Okay.
Oh, everyone wants you to open.
So it comes very nicely, slickly packed, nice and tight. You got protective case, protective plastic, which is good.
Did you order this direct through Super 7?
Yeah,
pre-order?
I pre-ordered. I want to say like a year ago. It was a long time ago. So it's got a really nice foil blocking, slightly rhombus shape. If I've got my geometry right, it's a nice matte finish. It's got a spot varnish. I'm trying to get my light so you can see.
Yeah, that was really sharp.
Oh, we've got a slide. So it just slides open, which is nice and tight. That's great. And then we have.
Oh, now it's red. That's sharp.
Yeah, got the old school Gen 1 stuff going on here. You got his stats, which is cool.
So I am assuming that Super 7 pays a licensing fee to Hasbro to make these Transformers?
Yeah, so we own Transformers, so we license it out to various companies that make different products, whether it's t-shirts and things like that. And look at that here.
Oh, it's got a mirror. Look at
that. Yeah. So this is, I'm going to assume, a non-transforming. It's got reflected there. And then, so we've got a double blister here. This is where I don't get so delicate, everybody. So if you're easily offended by me just like pulling things out.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, that's what it's about, man. Grip them.
I'm actually being very delicate. I'm being very respectful. But I just want to do that. So we got this. We got a surfboard, which is interesting. It's funny because I did a style guide, Optimus Prime, that was all like LA West Coast graphics, surf graphics with Optimus Prime surfboard. There's probably t-shirts out there with him on the surfboard. It's got a surfboard.
Surfboard?
Yeah, it's got a surfboard. Of course. Someone, a big Transformer fan will tell me when he was riding the surfboard, I'm sure. Let's get him out. I actually want to see him. Let's get him out.
A question I'll ask, since this is very similar to the Hasbro's Red Transformers, is it not?
Well, I couldn't answer that one because I'm not involved in the licensing of it. So I'm not sure. All I know is that he is nice. So he's reasonably articulated. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Decent amount. Okay.
It's very retro. I do like that.
What I like about it is that kind of like, it's not polystone, but it's got that matte finish. I do like matte plastic, if I'm honest.
I do too. Yeah.
You got a surfboard, as you know. You got a basketball. Maybe they were super inspired by my.
Oh my God! Okay. I didn't know it had all this.
You got a little dude here. I'm not going to get all these little things out. You've got his axe. I'm going to assume
Super 7 does have really cool accessories.
Yeah. Put his power axe.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him. I like him a lot. I'll pose him out. I'll stick him in the. I'll put him in my cabinet back there. He's got his blaster. I forget what this is called. Transformers fans, I'm sorry. It's like the leadership. What's it called?
I'm sure we got a couple of Transformer heads in the chat.
Tell me what it's called. There's something of leadership.
The eye of.
I'm looking over here.
Yes. The Eye of Leadership, something like that.
Eye of Leadership, something like that, yeah. We got some hands and we got a little dude here. His name's probably Sam, but I don't know who that is.
Oh, there's a little dude, yeah.
We got a backpack. Why doesn't that? How does that fit? Oh, that's nice. I was expecting a post, but it actually, I think, just slides in.
Just keys in, right?
That's nicely done. Yes, I think that's very nice.
Now, were you a Transformers kid?
I wasn't. In England, we didn't. There were Transformers, but there wasn't a lot around. I was Star Wars through and through. I was a Star Wars kid from the age of about. I'll come back over and talk to you. I'll leave him there so you can look at him.
Yeah.
I was a Star Wars kid from the age of about 5. I was on a family holiday to LA with my mum and dad, and we went and saw it at Mann's Chinese Theatre, the quintessential place to see Star Wars. And I just remember the sound. I remember the X-Wings coming over. So that was 5. I was 5 years old, and we came back to England. And I remember going to a toy store in Malden, Essex, which is where I live, which incidentally is where Captain Britain is supposedly born. I found out this week.
Wow.
Malden, Essex is where Brian Braddock was born, which is where I lived as a little kid. So it's a connection there.
Okay.
What was I saying? I went to a toy store. I went upstairs and I saw these Star Wars figures, and they were 50p. And I remember saying to my mum, I was like, "Mummy, they're those space people that we saw when we were on holiday." And I bought R2-D2 was my first one. So I bought that, and then I just bought more and more. Empire came out when I was a bit older, 2 or 3 years later, and then I was hooked. And I played with it up until about the age of 12. So
did you have a lot of Palatoid Star Wars, or did you have more of the Hasbro?
Yeah, no, it was Palatoid. It was all Palatoid. Yeah, so in England it was.
So you have the X-Wing with no electronics, right?
Yes.
You guys just out of the light, the little red light.
Yeah,
and I guess a couple little differences like that. The playset.
I was Star Wars. I didn't get it. I knew of Transformers. I had a few friends that had them. I was aware of G.I. Joe, but for us, G.I. Joe was Action Force, the 3 3/4. So we had Action Man, which is obviously G.I. Joe, which I worked on in 2000s for about 5-6 years. Action Man, and ours was.
Did you ever have like the 12-inch dolls?
Oh yeah. I had the 12-inch Action Man dolls. I had
you had those?
Yeah, I don't have them anymore, actually. I should buy one. I had an army guy, and I had a big tank that, a Jeep that had like this rocket propeller, a rocket launcher on the back, which I used to take off and just run around the house on its own, just firing it.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
I should get that. I should find that. I've still got some Action Force over there. I bought a few, the Diver and Captain Black.
Yeah, I've been following. I saw you got the scuba guy.
Yeah.
So here, I'm going to.
What you got?
I'm gonna rip open. I do already have like all my Hulks open, of course, because Hulk is my main guy. And I think yours is. Am I wrong? Is it Superman? Is he your favorite superhero?
I don't have one. It's difficult because I am quite boring, as I always like the Boy Scouts. Look at you opening that neatly.
I like the card backs. I'm a fan of.
Well, JTC's. Yeah, JTC's art is amazing.
I want his job, Steve.
Are you pitching?
Well, not his job. But I would love to work alongside fellow talented artists. Yeah, this is top of the line, Steve. In my opinion, this is the best action figure product that Hasbro company, or sorry, Kenner is making. Is the retro line of Like as much as I like Black Series and Vintage Collection, and now the Masters of the Universe Origins, I think those I never really had lots of those as a toy as a kid, but now that they're remade, top quality, and all the parts are swappable, and like you're making the custom figures by cutting and drilling. Yeah, those Masters Universe figures, you can change the heads and the arms and the pants, and they're great. Like we never really knew that as kids. I mean, now they kind of promote that as a play feature, right? Toyetic value, I guess the old Kenner guys used to say.
You got it.
So now that we've got 3 or 4 waves of these guys, are we going to see 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 waves of these guys?
We're up to wave 6 have been announced.
Okay,
So
let me reread
there's
that.
more coming. There's more coming.
Are we
We did
going
a
to
live.
see a Wave 10? And are they still going to be in a similar or exact same package? So you can display them all together.
Well,
or will it be a brand new package?
Well, I can't go too deeply into what they are or how they're going to be presented.
Okay.
Rick. I will tell you there's more coming. I'm looking at them every day. And we had a live stream recently. I wasn't on it. It was Ryan and Dwight they showed off the Sentinel.
Yes, I did pre-order that.
8-inch Sentinel, yeah. Everyone, it's 8 inches. I know they didn't put the size in on Hasbro Pulse. It's 8 inches.
I think they did 2 hours later, though.
I know. I rang them up and said, "Oi, there's no size on here. Put the size on." But yeah, we're working on some more characters. There's some really good ones, real fun ones coming up. We're doing different things soon.
And same kind of thing with the Star Wars retros, right? Like now that we're coming up to Return of the Jedi, do you think that Hasbro company might continue that on with some more Return of the Jedi?
They may do.
We can dream, right?
Yeah, we can dream. I know. Like, I can't believe it's 40 years. Where's the time?
Yeah, what a coincidence. That would be great. Yeah. I would be a big fan if they did make 6 more figures or whatever.
Well, I will let my friends Vicky, Chris, and Emily, and Eric, and all that tell you all about that when they're ready to. But I particularly I just picked up the Wave 2. It's good because I didn't work on these, but I was there at the beginning of pitching the idea of, hey, why don't we do retro Kenner reproductions of the original 12 or whatever, 6 we did, and just because they go for a lot of money, people are nostalgic for them, we might be able to bring in some kind of cool new casual fans that just go, oh, this is kind of cool. And I wanted to make sure that there was different packaging and you could tell that they weren't reproductions, because I don't like repros, even though they are repros. So, actually, they were scanned from those original Wave 1, and I think maybe even the Empire was scanned from my figures here that I've got. They were actually 3D scanned from that.
Which is brilliant. That's a great story, and you have some very cool collectibles that you.
They're the grandfather. They're the grandfather of them. A lot of people said, didn't they just use the molds from Kenner times? I'm like, no, the molds last about 10 years and they rust out. You can't.
So I would like to give a shout out to whoever at Kenner made this, modified Imperial style blaster, utilizing the old Kenner, to the T. That is. Mm-hmm. Can you give that person a raise? Can you put a good word in?
Well, they don't report to me. I will give them. I think I know who it was. I'll give them a pat on the back. I actually wanted to congratulate on the Wave 2 because I love it. That Wave 2 in particular. I like the Wave 1 Mando stuff, but the Wave 2 stuff I really like. I like the polish where they've polished, and you can polish the mold so it gets glossy and matte. I really like the differences.
I see. Yeah, I like. Do you have any of the Reaction retro style figures? Is there any of those you collect, like Back to the Future or?
I don't. I have a couple of trends. I think I have Starscream. That's all I got.
Okay. Yeah.
But no.
What do you think of those? Are you? Do you think there's a good market for the retroness of where the toys are going now?
Yeah, I think. Listen, I mentioned that I used to do style guides and things for Transformers and stuff like that, and working on those, we have to spend a lot of time thinking about trends, global trends, and retro is a massive trend. It's been around a few years. I don't see it going anywhere, especially after the pandemic, because retro is nostalgia, is safety, is soft, fond memories. It's being in control and kind of cocooning yourself. Yeah. It helps us as human beings to feel okay, which in today's world is really important. So the whole retro, I originally had one cabinet of Star Wars figures. I purposely didn't collect a lot of toys. I worked in the toy industry for 20 odd years, but I didn't have a lot for myself. But over the pandemic, I, like many of you, I'm sure, and all the other people that are watching, I needed to surround myself. So a lot of these are all my old childhood toys that I've found on eBay or wherever, and I kind of rebought them to make myself remember fond days. Maybe it's my midlife crisis, I don't know, but
Yeah,
Yeah, the
well,
retro trend is everywhere, and it's not going anywhere for a while, in my opinion.
no, I agree. I'm a fan of it, and I think it's going over well. Like I at lots of stores and toy shows, and I see what people are after or what they think is popular. It's quite interesting, and I just wanted to ask you too. Like, since I have these retros out, what do you think about cardboard play sets or really inexpensive play sets that could be associated with retro style toys, a really cheap, I hate to use that word cheap, but low price, even non-licensed, and even a non-licensed product. Would Hasbro ever make something non-licensed to accommodate toys like this, like just a generic building and sidewalk?
Well, I don't know whether Hasbro would necessarily do non-licensed, because we got a lot of licenses. But I did when I was on the Star Wars brand, when Solo came out. The team did a couple of cardboard play sets. We did Kessel, and we did, what was the other one? Oh my goodness!
And we never saw those in Canada, as far as I know.
Oh, you didn't see them? No, and they were good value.
I didn't.
They were big.
I didn't, but I like the idea of that.
I'll tell you a quick story on the Kessel playset, because that was the one we built first. So I said, hey, let's do some old style cardboard playsets just for fun, like inexpensive. And so the number one thing I said, never call it cardboard, because we want to call it playboard, because it wasn't cardboard. It was like chipboard. And
chipboard is right.
We built one out, and I remember standing in front of senior management, and they were like, so it's cardboard? I went, no, it's playboard. And I remember banging it with my fist. I remember going like that, and it obviously shuddered, but it didn't collapse. And that was me proving, like, this is playable. It's okay. Yeah. So we sold that. I don't know how well they did, but it's like, I liked doing that. So yeah, I do like the innocence of cardboard play sets. I remember you probably didn't. You had it at the start. Starbird. If anyone remembers Milton Bradley Starbird, I've got a Starbird.
The big ship. Yeah.
There.
Yeah, it made lots of funky noises, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was one of my favorite toys of ever. So they had a big play set that was huge. It was like 3 foot, all cardboard and like little plastic, rivets and kind of girders and things, which I've got to buy. Actually, I've got to get one of those. But yeah, no. To answer your question, I like the idea of cardboard inexpensive play sets for retro collectors that know that they're not necessarily going to play with them. They're going to display them. Maybe they're called display sets. Well, they're display sets where you kind
display
of like
set.
Yeah. So
you haven't already you haven't trademarked that already, have you?
No, like I haven't trade Let Them Breathe either.
Display sets. Just writing a little note here.
Yeah, so I like that.
You don't have to answer any of these questions, but yeah, like, do you think there'll be more retro figures, even maybe for other licenses? Maybe not just from Hasbro, but because your experience, are there maybe future retro licenses or properties that we can see come back?
I'm sure.
Not to give away like a new movie that's being made or something, but
I won't. Don't worry. No, I'm sure there are lots of. As I said, retro's popular, so I'm sure that lots of companies are going to lean into retro. We're seeing it already. It's like, are we going to do any more retro stuff? You'll have to wait and see.
Well, like you said, you're definitely continuing on with some more.
You'll definitely see some more Marvel. Yeah,
some Marvels, and we saw from, the live stream that they're definitely moving forward with, even a 6-inch scale on the retro card for somewhat, for some immediate releases and whatnot. So I'm definitely a huge packaging fan of any type. So if Hasbro can be the company that comes up with a creative package, however they got to do it, I'm sure they will come up with the best possible solution, and it's not going to change the toy industry and make everyone go to a different brand, different line of figures because of the new package design or style, whatever it might be. But I like all packages. I like box design. Like you said, you did some work drawing, instructions or different kind of technical artworks and stuff like that. I'm a fan of all that stuff, and it makes the toy, if that's a way to speak. Like if I was buying something in a blind bag or a blind box, and actually that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you. What do you think about the whole blind bag, blind box idea for children's toys? Do you think they're kind of promoting gambling to children? Like that's
a leading question, Rick. That's
I'm being totally honest, because that's how I feel about the blind bag industry, whether it's Funko Mini Met Pops or whatever little brands are out there. I think it forces people to buy 10 or 12 to hope they get the one that's their favorite character or whatnot.
I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think back when I was a kid. What was the equivalent of blind bags? I guess.
Well, here's a story from yesterday at my local corner store. They have one of those claw machines.
Yeah.
You put your money in, and there's a bunch of toys in it, and you can try to, and basically you always lose, right? So I was in the store, and there's a little kid with his grandma playing, and he lost. Immediately he went into tears, like to play again, like put another $1 in, Grandpa. And I was like, oh man, I remember being like that as a kid.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be allowed anymore. Like that's torture. And it's not the same as
that's a lesson. I hope Grandpa didn't pay for another one. He should say, no, there you go. You paid your money, takes your choice. You kind of can't win them all.
No, I don't know why I wrote that down here as a fun question to ask, but because I'm hoping Hasbro doesn't go on and make blind bag toys in the future. Maybe they will, but I don't think they have yet.
I'm trying to think what we've got out there that's ever been.
Oh, you guys make the mini brands, don't you? Those little.
No,
that's someone else. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think of that toy? The
ones that are just like small, tiny ones. Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah. Well, now they have little Disney ones. Like you can get a little Darth Vader, a little R2D2, and little shopping carts, and
they're cute.
And whatever.
I mean, I'll answer some of that. I can't really comment about blind bags for Hasbro and going forward. And
okay.
That. But the whole collectible has been. The whole collectible kind of like toy industry, that sort of small kind of $7.99, $9.99, $4.99. Stores had aisles of them 2-3 years before the pandemic. It's kind of gone out of fashion a little bit, I would say. Now, I mean, if you walk into a Target or whatever now, you'll see less of those, but they're still popular.
We see a lot of those in the smaller or privately owned toy stores, comic stores, like a lot of those toys hit those like specialty stores as opposed to a whole aisle in Walmart or even Toys R Us up here. Like our Toys R Us up here are still really big department stores, but they don't carry every line of toy. They just carry what they want to, right?
But a lot of those are more collector, I would say, than the young kid.
Because I know in the US,
I think it's part of the excitement. I like getting a blind. Like I opened up some Muppets Legos. I said Legos.
Yeah, the Muppet Legos.
Lego.
See,
no S.
my local Walmart had an end cap, and they might have had, I'm going to say 50, 100. They might have had 200 of them just all in there. I went back to that Walmart the next morning. They were all gone.
Yeah.
Like crazy. 200 of them.
I just want to point this out, Rick. Des T, you got it smack on. Panini football stickers, they were blind bags. All the wax packets, the cards.
Yeah, all playing cards.
Yeah.
Baseball cards, hockey cards.
You got it. I got my old 1981 Panini football over there. It's
you mean soccer, right?
Football.
Did you play sports growing up, or do you still?
I used to play football, but I was a bit lanky. My center of gravity is very high, Rick. I'm 6'3", and but I was more track and field. I used to do high jump and javelin was my bag back in the day.
Excellent. And you were at a track meet today for your kids. What events was she participating in?
She wasn't participating today because she just had pneumonia, so she's just getting over pneumonia. But she wanted to go and cheer on her teammates. But she does 200 meters and 400 relay. So she's a runner. Yeah, she's great.
I was a 100-meter dash guy, and shot put, And then I remember when we had to do 400 meter in phys ed class, I almost died. That's like a full lap around the track, you know, for a 200-pound guy. That's a lot of work. But yeah, I like track and field too. And then I got into rugby and football, and you know, everything changed after that.
But yes, thank you, Des, for that. Yeah, you're right. Panini stickers was a.
Do you have any experience yourself in, let's say, the sculpting field of toy design or just art, whether it be with clay, hands-on, or wax, or on a computer program, like the programs that are used? You had an experience with that.
So as I think I mentioned before, I'm graphic designer trained. So I'm graphic, Photoshop, Illustrator, all the kind of 2D stuff is what I'm trained in. I wasn't trained in industrial designer whatsoever. And as I've been at Hasbro 23 years now, and I've gone through packaging manager, graphic designer, games design. I used to do a little bit where, you know, working out how people play. I then did work on movies and TV, kind of communicating what a brand meant to create new TV shows. I worked on Transformers. I worked on Transformers Rescue Bots. I was sort of part of the team that developed that for TV, and Chuck and Friends, which is an old Tonka thing.
And then James Bond Jr. stuff you worked on too, didn't you? That?
No, I didn't do that. I did I did Action Man. I did Action Man Alpha Teens on Machines, which was a Jetix show way back in like 2005. But anyway, so I got the Star Wars gig, and I remember the chap coming up to me and saying, "Hey, Steve, do you want to lead the Star Wars design team?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, but like I know nothing about plastic. Like I couldn't tell you the difference between ABS or PVC way back then." So to answer your question, no, I couldn't sculpt to save my life. I know what looks good, and I know what, you know. So I'm a conductor. That's what I say. I'm a conductor. I make sure everyone's doing things and working out, and everything gets made to a nice thing. But I can't play an instrument. So,
but I mean, like if you go into the office at work, is there a computer you can open up and, you know, start playing around and say,
but I do most
3D print yourself a Boba Fett?
I don't. That's why I'm teaching myself that custom stuff. You know, I've sort of started kit bashing figures together, and the next step is I want to do some injection molding at home over there and that on this camera over here. And then I want to get into some 3D stuff. I know, I've seen it. I know the principles of it, but I haven't yet honed my skills to do that. But I do.
Yeah, I'm very keen on how advanced 3D printing is now too, where even if you're not designing yourself, you have access to buying files from people or getting them for free or whatever. And that's one of my questions too. Do you think Hasbro would ever get into that game where they say sell a 3D print file so someone can print, a head or a hand or
I have no idea.
Stand or something?
I don't know.
Do you think that will never happen, or do you think that's something that will eventually be part of the industry?
I have no idea. I couldn't see that far in the future, and I couldn't comment on Hasbro's position on that because I just don't know it, Rick. But I know it's around. I know it's everywhere. You know, people creating stuff and selling them on. And
are there still people doing traditional sculpting within Hasbro, whether it's clay or wax?
No, it's wax. I mean, it was up to quite recently that we still sculpted in wax. It wasn't probably until I want to say like 2012. They were still getting wax. I'm just trying to think, going into Dave's office whether he had wax still. Yeah, it's only very recently we use ZBrush mostly at Hasbro.
Because I've heard some sculptors or people that work for companies that hire sculptors talk about how some companies will 3D print, their concept, not 3D print, but somehow 3D print a mold, produce a copy out of wax that was digitally created, but then on the wax they can go in and hand detail some hair and fur, and so I think both ways are still done. I just wasn't sure if Hasbro still had.
No, most of it's three. Like we'll sculpt in ZBrush, we'll print it out. We've got a farm of 3D printers, like high resolution 3D printers that will print out one-offs, which we then, if we need to, we'll make quick casts, like silicon casts to kind of do a few, and then we'll use those to kind of paint and kind of create like paint masters, which actually we don't even do that now. We actually paint digitally now to a certain extent.
Sure.
So it's a bit of that both going on. But no, we've never. Yeah, I don't believe that we still use wax in any form personally. But I might be wrong.
Do any of those 3D print, test pieces ever make it into the photography nowadays, like they used to back in the 70s and 80s? Or a lot of it's all digital renderings now that we see?
I'm trying to. Yes, a lot of digital renders now. Which we had to move to because of like the pandemic. It's like no one could go anywhere. There wasn't physicality anywhere, so everything was digital. I mean, those of you who went to San Diego Comic-Con in the last sort of 5 years or stuff, a lot of the stuff that's out there is that are early. They're not even prototypes. They're 3D printed and painted.
Yes. Because the quality
I'm sure they are somewhere.
Good. Yeah, it's amazing, like how it's changed over maybe just 5 years. How it's those $1,000 3D printers are now $199, and the new $1,000 version is even better. Like they're getting better every couple of years, and it'll be interesting to see how much of that we see in the future.
Yeah, I want to get into that. So no, I don't know anything about 3D in terms of skill, but I'm going to learn it just because I want to be crafty and just. I
think if I had access to ZBrush, like here, Rick, here's a 1 year free trial of ZBrush.
Yeah,
I think I would try to learn. Like,
you could do that. You're visually talented, and you kind of.
It is interesting. I do a lot of, love all the different kind of arts, whether it's just someone who can paint, or draw with a pencil, or take photographs. Like, I only use my iPhone. Maybe for the past 5 or 6 years, since I don't have a nice camera, but I love taking photos of toys. Yeah. People don't even see 90% of the photos I take, but I still take them. I can still look at them on my computer and stuff.
It's funny because so I've been doing the custom stuff and I've been taking photographs of them, and it just goes to show. So when I was on Action Man, which I mentioned, 2005, I used to run the packaging for it, and I used to set up photography studios and
cool.
I was an art director, so I art directed the photography in the middle of 2000. So when I now take photos of my figures, I've realized how dated my approaches are. I always have a red gel and a blue gel, and my style looks really 2000s. I'm so old because I'm now like, oh my God, that looks retro. And I look at some of the stuff that people are doing on Instagram. I just reposted Mr. Lee stuff. Just amazing. People like Sadork and Jason, more or less, and all that, Spencer and all that crew are fantastic at doing toy photography. But there's a certain style where I look at mine looks really dated, but charming, but dated.
No, it's funny. Like I said, like I told you even before on stream, like a lot of your photography and your art style within your Instagram and stuff that you share with the community, it inspires me, and
thank you.
It's a lot of my style that I like. I can tell that you like as well. It's a little love for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Kenner or Palatoid Star Wars figure, vintage, and why is it Hammerhead?
It is Hammerhead. I think I bounce around, but where is he? Let me get him. Where is he? I'll tell you why I like Hammerhead. Let me get him. I'll go onto my other cam and work out why I like him.
Now, for any reason whatsoever, has Hasbro ever scanned that Hammerhead?
No.
Damn it! I mean, that's a shame.
And I wouldn't read into that, but this one hasn't been scanned. That doesn't mean
can you look into that in the next year or two?
I want to tell you why I love Hammerhead, and it's really stupid. So I'm a very tactile person, and I love Hammerhead mostly because of the simple veins and things, and the sort of texture, and the greeblies, I call them little greeblies of just the texture.
Yeah.
But I like this.
You're not the only one, Mr. Stevie. It's the most original action figure character I think ever made.
Can you see that?
Yeah, you can hang on there.
I'm refreshing. So I can fit my thumb in it. Or where's my finger? When I was a kid, I could fit my thumb in it. So that's why the way it feels. I can do that. So I love Hammerhead. Did you see that? Because I was refreshing it. So,
yeah.
I love it. And
So is that Are you being honest? Because Hammerhead is mine, and I just lead everyone on to try and force them to like Hammerhead.
No, someone asked me that before. I've mentioned that before. Hammerhead. I do bounce around. I won't lie. Like Yak Face, I like just because there's a story behind it. But Hammerhead is probably my favorite aesthetically Star Wars figure. Yeah, I'm not blowing smoke up you. That's true. I like Hammerhead too. I didn't know you liked Hammerhead. We should start.
Yeah, Hammerhead to me is just like he's the one. He seems to be the one. I'm gonna say he's kind of a fan favorite, like Gonk is. Like he's not R2 or you know Chewbacca, but I mean, there's still some love there. Same with Max Rebo. He gets lots of love. One of those colorful background characters.
Mine's white.
Why haven't we seen Hammerhead in any line of action figure, whether it's retro or Black Series or Vintage Collection or Galaxy of Heroes or I guess that's all of them. There's no Hammerheads.
No?
No, we need Hammerhead. Petition.org. Does Hasbro read that ever?
we read everything.
As a lover of Hammerhead, I would love to see Hammerhead in any shape or form.
Yeah. My Hammerhead is minty. I'll tell you, Geek Strong, the story behind those action figures there, most of those aren't my originals from when I was a kid. I gave those away when I used to babysit a couple of kids. But in early 90s, when I went to university in Brighton in England, I bought a collection. And I bought a collection for a ridiculously low amount of money from this guy in a car boot sale or a flea market, as you say over here. And I think the value or how much I paid for each of those figures, I think I worked out about, this is going to sound obscene, they were about 1 penny each. I bought those. And what I did, I then bought and sold those Star Wars figures to help me through university because I didn't have any money to buy and sell. Yeah. I still have them. So they're like 30, oh my God, that's depressing. 30 years old now, just over 30 years old. But they were like unplayed with. They were like, they had all the original weapons. Yeah. And they still squeak. And now they leach a bit now. You know, they're a bit leachy with where the oil comes out of the plastic. But they're
still out there. I still see some people posting photos in the Facebook groups. Oh, look at this! What I just found at an estate sale, and they got like the original 12 still on card, and all the play sets and boxes, and you're like, oh my God,
that's
man.
Cool. I remember getting Barada. He was 10p. I spent 10 pence on Barada, and then so the only ones I've really bought when I was younger, like were Yak Face. I paid £90 for Yak Face back in 96, I think. I think I'd got my first job. And then I paid Blue Snag. I want to say 150. Now, Blue Snag, he's pretty good, but he's got a bit of scuffing on the feet, which annoys me.
That silver paint comes off quite easily. Yeah, I think I paid about 250 for my Yak Face, in the early 2000s or late 90s.
And I'll show you my Blue Snag. I'll put it up on this camera. So
very nice.
But he's just a little bit of scuffing on his feet. But other than that, you can hear it. He's stiff.
There's some stuff. It's just so are you still actively collecting any vintage Star Wars, whether it be figures, Tauntauns, Wampas?
So I've always been very strict with myself on Star Wars because I've figures, out of box figures. I have one carded layer. I can't afford the carded stuff.
Yeah, it's a little different.
And it's all figures. So I've got all the figures. I don't go into variants. I don't go into the Hong Kong kind of difference and things like that. But I've only just started recently thinking, I guess a Tauntaun and Jabba and Salacious, that's a figure. So I got those really nice and minty. And then I just got my Rancor. You can see up.
Yeah, I saw you unbox that.
Yeah. So now I'm desperately trying to find a Wampa, but they're really hard to find clean, and I'm a real OCD about the cleanliness. So the glue line usually kind of leaches out. And
but the de-yellowing. There's certain tricks with the peroxide.
I've got a UV curing cube over there.
Yeah, that's right. You tried some Stormtroopers, right?
Yeah, I did. It works pretty well, but I'd like to find a crisp Wampa. And then Well, then do I then start going, well, mini rigs are small. I could get that. And then I'm going to be in
mini
trouble.
rigs are the best, Steve. I love the mini rigs.
So
I'm still waiting to see a mini rig roll on the TV screen, whether it's Kenobi or Boba Fett or Mandalorian, like Bosk's Cap 2. I was so hoping it would show up in season 2 or something. So all the mini rigs.
Here's a story for you. So, and I don't know whether they're going to, so don't read into this any further. But obviously, Mark Boudreau, who used to be on my team when I was on Star Wars, you know, stalwart of Star. He's worked on every single Star Wars movie for toys.
Yes, and we hope he's doing well. I know a lot of people know.
Yeah. He's slowly, but
good.
Keep him in your thoughts, everybody, please.
Yes, I met Mark in Chicago.
Yeah,
beautiful man.
He's a wonderful, wonderful man, and taught me a lot. He was sort of my mentor, though he kind of reported into me. It was like too intimidating. I was like, no, I'm reporting into you. He taught me a lot of stuff, and like he did a lot of those mini rigs. Like he did,
wow.
And he did the troop transporter, the Stormtrooper troop transporter.
A favorite of mine too, yeah.
That had that little record in that used to play.
Yeah,
and I know that you know, in Mando, they obviously brought that out. That was Mando.
Yes,
season 1, and you know, and I know Filoni was a big fan of that. So, you know, that was brought to life. And I know Mark was like made up when he saw
Is that right, eh? Wow, that's awesome. So hopefully he gets to see another mini rig that he inspired or built.
And he always used to use the phrase, he used to say, Steve, I build these little mini rigs and I build these ships so that, like, if you're watching the camera in the movie and you're in the cinema, if you could just grab the camera and move it off the screen, that's where you'd see the mini rigs. He was like, just
in the deleted scenes too.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's awesome. So is there a line of action figures or toys in general that you collect them all? Like, I believe you have all the Marvel retros now, right?
I have all the Marvel retros. I'm just checking. There isn't any up there that you shouldn't see. No, we're good.
Yeah, let's zoom in.
That I have all of them. Well, I have all the Star Wars figures, retro ones. I got a lot of Smurfs. I've got into Smurfs recently.
Yes, I like your little display you made with the reuse of the Ewok.
Yeah,
or Robin Hood Treehouse.
Let me. I'm actually gonna. Let's go rogue now.
Absolutely.
You see this? Okay, so here's my Smurf village.
Let me try and make that bigger here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn around. I'll turn around.
No, that's not you. It's me doing it wrong.
Here we go. So this is my Smurf village. That's it. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Gargamel. I've got my Super Smurf flying through. Oh, hell, my wife's calling me and just moving more.
So I grew up in Ottawa, Ontario, in eastern Canada, and believe it or not, in 84, 83, we had a Smurf store. Like, it wasn't an official Smurf store, but it was a private owner, and he only sold Smurfs. And I remember going there on the weekends and spending, $3 or $4 or whatever I had and getting a couple of new Smurfs.
Yeah, cool. I also picked up, I got an old car sticker, because in England, when I
that's cool.
When I was 6, you could only get them in the National Garage, which is like a little petrol station.
Oh, okay. Is that like a gas station?
Yeah, you used to spend like $5, and I'll go back. You used to spend $5, and you used to be able to buy a Smurf for 50p. So I remember my dad, I used to go with him on delivery. So I mentioned he was a restaurateur, so we used to like make food and go off and sell it to other hotels and things. And I used to go with him, and it was always every time we went to get gas, I was like, Daddy, can we get a Smurf? So a few of those, I think.
I'll let you guess. What do you think at a gas station when we were kids here in Canada? I'll give you one guess. I bet you wouldn't guess what it was.
What you could get at a gas station, like a toy?
Yeah, like you said, you could get a Smurf at a service station. In Canada, we could get something else. It wasn't a toy.
Oh, it wasn't a toy. I was going to say Weebles. That's what I was going to say. Because when I was in Canada, I used to live in Canada.
Hockey pucks.
Oh, like collectible hockey pucks.
Like would look like Montreal or Toronto. So you'd have to collect them all. if there's 28 of them, you'd have to go back every week and get the next release of the hockey puck. And they're actually quite collectible now because I think it was only in Canada they made
Have
those.
you got any? Have you got any, Rick?
Absolutely. I think I have them all. And I don't have any toys from my childhood, sadly. Like when my family moved to Vancouver from Ottawa, we basically sold most of our belongings or gave them away and moved out here. We just drove in a car in our family. So I had a bunch of Star Wars toys and some G.I. Joes. And I remember selling them to one of my neighbor kids for like $10 Canadian, back in 1983. And we weren't rich. I'm sure I had 100 toys like that I wish I still had. But yeah, I only started recollecting my vintage toys that I do have in the late 90s when Star Wars was kind of reintroduced to us again with the anniversaries and all that. So that's when I started collecting the vintage and the modern. Now I guess it's a bit of both, but the vintage is still my passion.
My current hunt is for a Evel Knievel scramble van. That's what I'm after. I almost got one. I found one unopened in a box, and it was going up like $400, and I was like, and I lost out, but I lost out by like $5. I was just like, but I like it. I like the hunt. I like that hunt of finding those things.
Yeah, Blue Harvest Toys here. He just got himself the Evel Knievel with the red, and I'm bugging him because I'm like, well, hurry up, go in the parking lot and shoot some videos jumping, on a shark.
That was a crazy toy. That Evel Knievel toy was amazing. It's so powerful. And it went mental. I remember getting hit by one once. Like my friend and I would play, and it hit me.
Did you guys make this? What do you think of that?
What's that?
It's a Duke Kaboom.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't make that.
The Canadian Evel Knievel.
Yes, Keanu Reeves.
Such a fun play on the Evel Knievel toy.
Yeah, but so I got to get my Evel Knievel scramble van. So I'm going to get that.
And did you see in that Toy Story movie that Duke Kaboom was in? Is that Toy Story 3? There was Kenner Obi-Wan and Kenner Walrus Man had a little fight.
Oh, I didn't remember that bit.
Yeah, because they would have had to get that license from somebody.
Yeah,
I'm assuming, right?
Well, with Mr. Potato Head's in it, so like we've obviously worked with Disney and Pixar on that. So
yeah. But if you haven't, I'm assuming you might own a copy of, or go to Disney Plus and look up Toy Story 3.
I think it's 4.
Obi-Wan Kenobi and Walrus Man are like arguing, and then Kenobi cuts off his arm, his Kenner arm. It's so great. Best part of the movie, really.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. So I don't want to keep too much more of your time, Steve.
This has been fun.
I appreciate you coming on my first episode where we just let him breathe, because that's what I'm all about. As much as I love, and I'm not going to lie, I keep a set of these all on the card, right? Yeah. And I buy a second set so I can rip them open.
That's the way. That's what you do.
This is what it's about.
None of this scalping.
So is this scanned from your toy on your shelf right now?
I think the Empire Wave was, yes.
Did you think carving your initials somewhere?
No.
You couldn't tell us if you did, right?
Of course I didn't. They would have spotted that anyway and then blended it out.
No, like some of the Kenner designers carved like their daughter's name. Emily.
Oh yeah. I used to do that a long time ago on packaging. I think there's a Monopoly Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones Monopoly, and I think in Arabesh on the money, I think it says.
Oh really?
I think it says Stephen Evans, head banker or something like that, something silly, and but you can't read it. It's so small and the printing's so bad. But that one I did because I used to run Monopoly creatively for a while, just sort of doing.
Well done.
Yeah, we used to, but we don't do that anymore. Not allowed.
Are we going to see a Return of the Jedi board game? Maybe this has nothing to do with it, but are we going to see a Return of the Jedi? Because Hasbro made that board game, didn't they? For the Star Wars and the Empire Strikes Back, or is that Parker Brothers?
Yeah,
that you guys. It's all Hasbro.
Parker Brothers is owned by Hasbro or part of Hasbro.
So, my bad.
The Death Star Escape with Tarkin. That was my last. That was the one where I actually got a new figure. before I left Star Wars. I was like, we got to get Tarkin. We got to get. So there was that, and then there was the Attack on Hoth or whatever. I forget the name of it, but Jedi one.
And thank you for that. That was one of the greatest Star Wars releases in many years in toy form. Was that Tarkin figure?
Tarkin, so, yeah. I like it when they do new figures. It's cool. It's different.
I greatly appreciate it, Steve, and I hope we get to see lots more of these retro toys. I know you're a proud retro toy lover, so I hope that we can get some follows on Instagram and people kind of know your face who may not have already, recognized you or dealt with you at previous conventions or toy shows and stuff, because all these different communities coming together is great. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on here.
Hey, my absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on, and good luck with the Let 'Em Breathe. You may use my logo as your lead your lead graphic, as a graphic designer to another graphic designer. I share it with you, my friend. Do with it as you wish, and I wish you all the best with your series of YouTubes. I'm sure you'll get to 1 trillion followers very soon, subscribers.
In a week, Steve, it's going to happen.
At least. And I'll see you on Instagram. It's lovely to finally meet you. Everyone, I've been talking to Rick on Instagram, and he's been sending me stickers and things for 7 years, probably six years at least.
Yep.
Lovely to finally meet you and speak to you, and one day we'll get in person and we'll flick around some of those hockey pucks and grab a.
Absolutely. Are you going to Celebration?
I'm not. No.
Okay.
No, unfortunately, I can't. No.
I'm assuming the Hasbro team will be there as they have in the past.
I'm not quite sure what they've announced, so I would be remiss of me to comment on that one. So we'll see.
They actually haven't announced anything. That's why I was trying to get you to spill some news. But that's where I met Mark. Was in Chicago. He was there with there's a couple other people, but he was the one that I was drawn towards because I knew him as the Millennium Falcon designer, and just
cool.
See this picture in the background here. This is my drawing of a part of a Millennium Falcon that Mark did. So that's for my love of him and everything he's done. As well as Steve, again, thank you for coming on here and ripping them open with us.
All right, man.
So enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah, you too.
And to everyone else in the chat.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you all very much. I'm just going to play this little.
Now the awkward bit.
Did you see that?
I did. That's very cool. Did you? Is that your new pick?
More fun stuff like that on Instagram to come soon.
Wicked.
Thanks again, everyone.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Cheerio, everyone.